Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News, and I have the pleasure to be joined by the former Southern Area English and British super featherweight champion Liam Dillon. Liam, how are you today, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I mean, all the better for being down at RJ's gym today. My first time down here, but what is it like training down here with Ross and Rod?
Oh, it's great, man. We have a great laugh. But yeah, they really put me through my paces. But end of the day, it's just a great atmosphere, great gym to be around.
Definitely, mate. I want, before we get into kind of your career in detail, I want to talk about kind of the gyms 2023. I mean, mad year for you guys. I mean, you picked up the British against Kazakhstan. I mean, Sam picked up the Commonwealth, and then Jeff's win against Callum French. I mean, you guys silenced a lot of people that night. I mean, but talk to me about kind of the gyms 2023 and how does it feel to be a part of that, picking up those titles?
Yeah, I had a bit of problems. I was supposed to fight Dillon at the beginning of the year, but then he pulled out unexpectedly, and I didn't end up getting my first fight of the year till July. Which lucky it was against the British, against Kazakhstan. It was a hard fight. I knew it was going to be. Kez was obviously very skillful, but yeah, it was brilliant to get that win. And then obviously not long after that, saw Gilly pick up the Commonwealth, and probably a better fight than I had. There was a cracking fight versus Louis Green at York Hall as well, and yeah, that was mad. Especially, I used to train with Sam at Waltham Forest years ago, so we've really come back from since we were kids to see him picking up the Commonwealth. But yeah, man, I think when Jeff beat Callum French was probably one of my favourite moments in boxing. I think I've had. I know you can't really tell by watching TV, but it was only me and Ross and Jeff. That was it up there. And when we done the walkout, Jeff got booed. I see a whole stand of people boo Jeff. And then the first three was kind of slow, and then Jeff really upped the pace. And when Jeff's always used to long rounds, very experienced fighter, probably got the best calibre of opponents out of anyone in this gym. And yeah, he really took Cam to pieces. And then when the towel come in, man, I was like, but you know what? Because normally when you watch on TV, you hear the commentators, mate, when the towel come in, the ref waved off, you couldn't hear a pin drop. It was literally just me and Ross screaming. And yeah, I just turned around. All these people who were cheering at first were gone silent. I was like, mate, it was probably one of the best memories of boxing I've had. Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I was ringside that night, and you could hear a pin drop. I mean, I think because Cyrus Patterson lost. No, that's it. I think Shabazz didn't put in a great performance, and I think it was quiet in there after that fight. But I mean, what a performance from Jeff as well. And I think I was just saying to Rod and Ross, I mean, if you know your boxing, especially on the domestic scene, you know who Jeff Afori is. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, we'll get back onto your career, Liam. I mean, last time out, against Reece Bellotti, obviously, very sad when a fighter loses his title, British title like that. But I mean, fight of the year, mate. I mean, how do you reflect on such a... I know, again, you lost your title, unfortunately, but how do you reflect on it being such an involved in a fight that could have gone your way as well?
I mean, I knew he was going to be competitive. I knew Reece was very experienced. I kind of thought, looking at his last three, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He kind of bullied people, broke people down, and stylistically, that would have suited me perfectly. But the teams kind of know each other. He's obviously got a very experienced team. They do their research. So he came out and he got more of a hit and move style. He boxed really well. But yeah, it was a massive learning curve for me. I thought he won the fight, but I thought it was a bit closer than what the scoring said. I think the first six I kept the pressure on, and I thought after the first six it was about 3-3, but then he came out in the 7th and he really upped the pace. And from previous fights, from a few 10-rounders, a couple 12-rounders, everyone I thought seems to have gassed out in later rounds. So I thought he's going to gas out next round. Round 8 came, he's going to gas out. Then went 9-10, and it was like, Ross was like, you've clearly lost the last 4. But yeah, that was my experience. I thought he was going to gas out. But then, 11-12, I tried to get off. Don't think I went a second without throwing a punch in 11th and 12th. But I thought I nicked them rounds. But at the end of the fight, I was like, I think he's nicked that. But yeah, I learned from it, and that's what boxing is, isn't it? Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and it's a career. You've got to move on. And I said to the boys, after that, I want to get a big win behind me. I don't really want to do a ticket deal journeyman. I'd rather get stuck in versus an undefeated. I don't even mind being the underdog. I thought a big win could put me straight back in there. And my goal is still to unify the British and Commonwealth title. Like, that hasn't changed.
Definitely. I hope those opportunities come for you, mate, as well. I mean, I think a lot of people were saying after that fight, when is Liam Dillon going to be back? Is there anything you could tell us about a potential fight next, mate?
Yeah, we obviously put the feeders out to Roland Russell straight back in the gym Monday. I was actually all right after the fight, so it was like Monday I was back at work, back at the gym. I was like, mate, I'm ready to fight now. Like, get me saying, it was like, well, let bruises heal. And I said, I'm normally quite a quick healer anyway, so I was like, mate, just get me a date. So they put the feeders out, and something has come up. I can't give too much away yet, but yeah, pretty much everything I asked for. I said I wanted someone high ranked, undefeated, and I want to get stuck back into a big fight, hopefully get the win, and then start pushing towards that British and Commonwealth title again. Hopefully a rematch with Reece, but at the end of the day I came in this game chasing belts, not names, so if he moves on to bigger titles, vacates, does whatever, fine, but my goal was to win the British and Commonwealth, no matter who that's against.
Definitely. Well, I mean, when the first fight was like that, I can't deny any promoter would pass up the opportunity to put that on again, mate, as well. I do want to touch on something you just mentioned there. Obviously, back in the gym 2 days after your Fight of the Year contender. I mean, I think there's a lot of misconception, especially in boxing. People think that boxing at any level, boxers are all loaded. They're all boxing is their job and that's it. But no, like, the reality is most boxers have another job. Obviously, you're a scaffolder as well, getting the branded as well in this interview. But kind of, I mean, talk to me. What is it like? Obviously, going from going to your dream job, obviously, to then back to your day job as well. How do you kind of balance the two things?
Do you know what, it's something I've always done since like my debut, and do you know what, I've spoke to loads of experienced fighters, all turned around to me, like, all retired fighters who said like, never quit your day job. Sounds like a bit of an offence, like you're not good enough to box, but like basically boxing, not the most reliable financially. Again, I've personally never cancelled a fight, but I've had people pull out like a week before a fight. Promoters have cancelled shows when there's not enough tickets sold. So it's not the most reliable financially, but I'm always in the gym, always training, always waiting for that phone call. But it's not something I think I would rely on financially. So I've always made a promise that win, lose or draw, I'll make sure I'm back at work Monday.
I mean, your boss must have loved you, mate. I mean that's crazy as well. I've done something that Ross touched on. I mean, but going into the fight with Ashfaq, I mean, kind of a lot of people like kind of played on the kind of the scaffolder versus Olympian type thing. Obviously, it's a great selling point. Obviously, like you just said, it's just normal life to you. But when people like play on that, does it kind of make the win even sweeter? I know you won a British title, which is kind of a really big pinnacle in the sport. But kind of, does it make the win sweeter?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I think the thing is with me when I fought Kez. I remember when Kez turned pro, was obviously from the Olympics. He was tipped. It's like win world titles, move on to big things. Whereas for me, I had quite a 50-50 amateur record, didn't win any titles. But generally my goal was just to win the Southern area when I turned pro. I thought, if I could just get a title, but obviously, I say boxing's a bit like climbing the corporate ladder. You win the Southern area and you're like, I want to win the English. I want to win the British, and you just keep climbing up. So the British was obviously my main goal. Like everyone who turns pro, I think, wants to win the British title. I know people going about world titles, but you want to win the British before you get to that world. But I think people kind of touched on that. You see me working full time, but still being British champion. I guess if I can inspire some people to do it, then it meant a lot.
I mean, it should, mate. And as well, we were just saying off camera, hard hat and high vis for your next ring walk as well, mate. I do want to touch on kind of one thing. Like, you've done a lot of rounds with a certain Joe Cordina. I mean, a current IBF super featherweight world champion. I mean, how do you reflect on those rounds? Obviously, you've done. I think Tony posts you on his story every other week sparring him. But how do you reflect on those rounds, and how do they bring you on as well?
Yeah, I spoke with Joe a lot before his last fight. They asked. I think I was quite similar to his last opponent, the height, style. But it's a big learning curve for me. He's probably the best British fighter I think we've got at the moment. But you just looking at how he trains and how he boxes. Obviously, I learned a lot from sparring him, because he's going to catch me with things that no one else does. Just the way he can be relaxed under pressure. But it's just great to be in there with the mix of them, especially for them to be asking to spar me as well. I feel like, I must be doing something right. If the world champions wants to do rounds.
Definitely, mate. I mean, what a fighter! And I think I agree with you. I think he's the best pound for pound British fighter around there at the moment. I think he's unbelievable as well. I mean, Liam, we've absolutely smashed through my. Actually, no, we've got a couple more. Actually, certain former opponent of yours, Joshua Wahab, is fighting Mark Chamberlain. I mean, Mark Chamberlain's. On the rise. He's just got a great win against Gavin Gwynn. But I mean, I don't know much about Joshua Wahab, but from what you guys are saying, I mean, Mark Chamberlain's in for a hard night on May the 18th.
I mean, I thought Wahab definitely gave me the hardest fight I had today. I think he's the biggest puncher I've been in with. I think when I fought him, it was quite strict. Normally, I don't swell up or anything, but it was like the second round. Rod was in with I think my eye was completely shut from like the second round. And I remember the fight. I think the first 6, I was like sitting on my stool. I was like, mate, I'm fucking losing this. Like, this is like unusual to me. I'm getting beat. And then I had a really good 7th round. I said to Rod, I went, am I winning? And he went, I need you to win every round from now on. But I think he kind of punched himself out. I think he was loading up so much.
Jordan Doos on here now. I'm sorry I've interrupted you.
No one cares about Jordan. I think from the 7th round onwards, he was he had no energy left, and I was hitting him, but he still wasn't going anywhere. Like, he's a tough. I mean, he had a really good record when I fought him. He was like 22-0, like 18 knockouts or something. Stupid. And it was a big. I think it was the most nervous I've been for a fight as well. I remember getting in the ring, and then I see like my mum, my sister was like 8 months pregnant, my fiance at the time, and looking up there. Then he got in the ring. I'm looking up. I'm going, oh, this is going to go horribly wrong. He looked massive as well. Like, he looked a lot bigger than he did the day before. I know a lot of people build up a lot from the weigh-in, but I think like he grew a couple of inches as well. Like, but yeah, it was definitely that was probably my favourite fight. I think that was like my career-defining fight, and obviously that win shot me up the rankings, earned me a shot at the British. So yeah, but that was definitely my career-defining fight. But then again, I've sparred Chamberlain, and I've got to admit, Chamberlain is a beast as well. Like, the weight above, like Wahab is going up in weight, whether he carries the same power. But yeah, I think if I had to make a prediction, I reckon Chamberlain probably stops him.
I mean, get in the way of Chamberlain's punches at your peril. I have to be honest. I picked Gavin Gwynn to beat him, and he destroyed Gavin Gwynn. So I mean, fair play to him. I think he's Turki Al Sheikh's favourite fighter at the moment. So he's had it off, I think. Yeah. But Liam, my final one, mate. We ask everyone this when all's said and done. And I feel like you're going to give quite a good answer to this question. Yeah, no. But when all's said and done, what does boxing mean to you?
Do you know what? It's a bit strange. I complain about it a lot. My wife will tell you I'm like constantly moaning about it, but it is sort of like just my life. It is everything. I think I'll be completely lost without it. I mean, even like thinking what my life would be like without boxing. Like, I met my current employer, Scaffold. I met him at a boxing gym. He was training with his son, which I'm still friends with him to this day. I met my wife at a boxing show. So, I mean, I don't know what I would. I hate to look at my life if I never found boxing, and I hate to be like what it is when I have to close this chapter on it. But I don't know what I'll do if my career was to just end.
I mean, I hope that's a long way away from now, Liam. But I have to ask, which boxing show was it where you met your now wife, mate?
It was actually just a white collar show, and I met her. I told her I'd done a bit, and they called me in the ring as like I just won a Southern Area, an English title fight coming up, and they were like, yeah, guest of honour, and she's come out, she's like, what, you only just done a bit of boxing? Yeah, I'm getting pulled in the ring. I go, obviously, it's not as good as it sounds. Your call is a shithole. Doesn't sound like good headlining.
I mean, I've had a fight at York Hall, and less said about that, the better. But I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say anything you haven't, mate. But no, Liam Dillon, thank you very much for your time today, mate. And yeah, we hope the journey never ends. Cheers, mate.
Thank you ever so much, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.